So what we need is to get the package for that. And this way you also learn how to add a package. So there is the package manager. So you just click to install. Wait a little bit. And we're back. So we are not using this anymore. So let's just cut that part out. Okay, but now how this system works. What do we do with this new system? You might actually have noticed that this is old, very bad looking UI. And Unity wanted to make away with this, to make something more friendly for the noobs. It seems that Unity now has this message here. As I mentioned, Unity is pushing this new input system. So let's click with the right button, create, and here now we have input actions. Let's just call it ship controls, or maybe player controls. Player controls. So this generate C# class is not needed. You can create their own edit asset. I heavily recommend, same way as the prefab, to leave the autosave on. Let's create a action map. I'm going to call it spaceship. What is an action map? So you have your different controls, right? This is a asset that is created for the player. So you can have a different set of controls for the menus and things like that. But the action maps, a way that you can think of this is when you're playing GTA, you have your character controls, but here you have the when you are free roaming, just walking around, and you have a different action map for when you are in the car, a different action map for when you are on a helicopter or something like that. So you have these different action maps for different situations that your whatever you are controlling is on. And here on the action itself, we have the functions or the what you are doing, like movement. You can delete this one. Delete. Let's create a 2D vector composite. I'm going to call this arrows. Here on the up, you write up arrow. Here on the down, down arrow. There was this list and system that wasn't working before. Let's see if it works now. I think it does. That's very good. Right arrow. Okay, and we can create another set of vector components, composites, all under the same function called movement. So this is very much better organized than that system before of the axis. And here let's just write WASD, listen W, listen S, listen A, and listen D. Okay, and let's make another action called shoot. In this one, we are not going to use a vector composite. We can use a default binding, which is already created automatically, which is just the spacebar. Not sure you want another button for that, but for now that is okay. Okay, so now we have this properly set. Let's go to our prefab and add the player input. This is a thing that comes together with the package that we installed. And here it requires you to drag and drop a set of input actions, which is our player controls. Okay, nice. You don't need to mess with the other options there. There is this default map, if you have more maps. Like the default map of a GTA character would be walking. And here on the behavior, this is where you set what will be called when you click on one of the buttons that call those functions. We are going to choose Unity events, though we still do not have any Unity events. So how do we do them? How does that work? So instead of having an update here, we are going to have a method that will be called when that movement happens. So instead of using this script to check for the movement, instead Unity will take care of detecting the button pressing, and here you are just going to write the method that will be called when that happens. So forgot the void movement input action, which we need to add here using Unity engine input system input actions, or I think this is fine. Input action callback context. Let's just call it context. So transform translate context dot read value. Remember that it is a vector2 composite, and so we get this vector2 value. Oh, but we need a vector3 to use transform translate, so we have to get a vector2 context2 value equal, let's get this part in here, and here we use the new vector3 context2 value dot x, context2 value dot y, and 0. And then we multiply by time delta time and by speed. Here on the player input, you click on this arrow, and here you can see our action map with movement and shoot. So add to the list here the movement. In what script we have this method here? On the player controller, right? And on what game object it is? It is on the same game object, so this is a bit weird, but you have to drag the object itself there, and here you find the movement. Alright, movement. Now let's play and see. It's working really badly, but it is working. So if you keep the button pressed, it doesn't go anywhere. It is just a method that is called and it moves by one position. So this is currently how that is working. But hey, our system works,